My name is Daniel, and this is the story of my dog, Max, my best friend, my loyal companion, and my daily teacher. This story is long because love is long, and because simple moments become big lessons when you live them with someone who stays by your side every day. Max is not the biggest dog, and he is not the smallest. He has brown and white fur, soft ears, and gentle eyes that make me feel calm when he looks at me. When I put my hand on his head, he closes his eyes and leans against me. In that simple movement, I feel love. Before Max, I did not know what love from a dog felt like. Now I cannot imagine one single day of my life without him. I met Max on a rainy day, a day when everything seemed wrong. I was tired after a hard day at work. The buses were late, my shoes were wet, and my heart was heavy. I wanted only one thing: to go home, make hot tea, and forget the day. But life sometimes surprises us when we least expect it. As I walked home, I passed an animal shelter. On the wall there was a sign: "Adopt, don't shop." I stopped. The rain was heavy. The street was gray. I felt cold and uncomfortable. But something inside told me to stop for a moment. I looked at the door of the shelter. My first thought was, "Not today. I am too tired." But another thought came. Maybe today is the day. Maybe this door can change something. I took a deep breath and walked in. Inside, it was warm and bright. A volunteer smiled at me and asked if I needed help. I said, "I only want to look." She gave me a small card with numbers for the dogs' rooms. I walked slowly down the hall. Some dogs barked loudly. Some dogs slept. Some dogs looked at me with eyes full of questions. And then, I saw him. He was sitting very still, not barking, not jumping. His head was tilted, and his tail moved softly, slowly. His eyes were calm, deep, and kind. They met mine, and I felt something strong. I looked at the card on his door. It said, "Maximum. 2 years old, mixed breed, friendly and calm. Loves walks." I knelt down and said hello. He stood up, walked close to the glass, and put one paw against it. My heart felt warm. I asked the volunteer if I could meet him. She opened the door and Max came out. He did not bark. He did not pull. He just pressed his head into my hand as if saying, "I am here. Please don't leave me." In that moment I knew. I decided I could not walk away. I filled out the papers. I paid the fee. The volunteer gave me a blue leash, a small bag of food, and a thin blanket. She said, "This is his favorite blanket. He likes to sleep on it." I thanked her. Together Max and I walked out into the street. The rain had stopped. The air was fresh. It was not just a walk home. It was the first step of a new life. When we arrived at my apartment, Max looked around carefully. He sniffed the couch, the chairs, the lamp, the kitchen. Finally, he found the blanket I had placed on the floor near my bed. He turned in a circle, lay down, and sighed. I made a cup of tea and sat on the floor beside him. "We are a team now," I whispered. His tail wagged. That night, for the first time in months, I slept deeply without worry. The first weeks with Max were simple and sweet. We created a routine together. Every morning at 6:30 we went outside. The air was cool and the sky had soft colors of pink and blue. Max walked beside me, calm, not pulling. He stopped to smell the grass, to look at birds. Sometimes a squirrel crossed our path, and he froze with one paw in the air. I waited for him. He always looked at me after, as if saying, "Ready?" Then we walked on. It felt like a dance, slow and gentle. After the walk, I had breakfast and Max had his food. He always sat before I put the bowl down. Nobody taught him that, but it was his way. I said, "Good boy," every time. When I left for work, he watched me from the window. It was hard to leave him, but I always said, "I will come back," and I always did. In the evening when I opened the door, Max ran to me with joy. His whole body moved from side to side, not just his tail. That joy was like a party, like a celebration. My stress fell away and I laughed, happy to hug him again. I wanted to train him, but I had never trained a dog before. So I watched some videos, read a book, and decided to keep it simple. Calm voice, short words, small treats. Sit. Stay. Come. Down. We practiced only 5 minutes at a time. He learned fast. When he made mistakes, I never shouted. I just tried again later. He trusted me and I trusted him. And that trust was more important than perfect commands. On Saturdays, we went to the park. The grass was green, families played, children laughed, and kites flew high. I kept Max on his leash and walked slowly. He wagged his tail softly when greeting other dogs. He watched ducks in the pond without barking, only breathing calmly. I stood next to him and did the same. In those quiet moments, I felt peace. I discovered many small things about him. He liked to sleep with his nose under his tail. He loved the sun near the window in the afternoon. He hated trucks but was not afraid of thunder. He rolled on the rug after baths, making me laugh. He hated carrots but loved small pieces of apple. He never begged at the table. He never destroyed my shoes. But he always stole one thing, my socks. He didn't chew them. He just carried them to his bed and slept on them like a pillow. I let him keep one old sock, and he was proud of it. One evening, I realized something. I was sitting on the floor, petting Max, while he slept. I felt a calm joy, not loud or big, but deep and strong. I understood that I was not lonely anymore. I had a friend who stayed, who listened without words, who never judged. In that silence, I promised him, I will take care of you for your whole life. Life gave us adventures. We went to the beach and Max saw the ocean for the first time. He jumped back from the waves, then learned step by step that the water comes and goes. We walked on the sand, leaving footprints and paw prints together. I took a picture and it became my favorite. In the summer, we climbed a hill. The path was hard and I was slow. Max stayed by my side, looking back to check if I was okay. At the top, the wind was strong. We looked down at the town, the river, the clouds. I felt small, but not in a bad way. I felt part of something big and kind. That day, I learned that you don't need to move fast to go far. Small steps, side by side, can take you to a beautiful place. Not every day was easy. Once Max got sick. He coughed, slept too much, and didn't want to eat. I worried and took him to the vet. The room was full of barking dogs and crying cats. I held his head and said, I am here. The vet gave us medicine. For 3 days I hid pills in peanut butter. On the 4th day, Max barked again. A small bark, but for me it was music. I almost cried with relief. Another hard time came when I lost my job. The company had problems, and I was one of many to go. I felt scared and ashamed. For 1 week, I woke up, walked Max, and then sat at the table with my computer, sending resumes. The apartment felt heavy and quiet, but Max put his head on my knee, reminding me of the present. He lived in the now. He did not worry about tomorrow. His lesson was clear. Focus on today, on one small step at a time. I made a plan. 3 job applications in the morning, a long walk at noon, a healthy dinner at night. After 2 months, I found a new job. It paid less, but I could work from home 2 days a week. And Max lay at my feet while I typed, his breathing helping me focus. In autumn, we walked through dry leaves. The sound was happy under our feet. The air smelled like apples and smoke. In winter, we saw snow. Max jumped, ran in circles, and tried to catch snowflakes in his mouth. He left patterns in the white ground. On New Year's Eve, fireworks exploded. He trembled and pressed against me. I put soft music, hugged him, and breathed slowly. Together we waited until the night was quiet again. Every season gave us something new. Spring brought flowers and longer walks. Summer brought trips to the hills. Autumn gave us leaves and golden light. Winter gave us silence and snow. Life with Max was not about big events. It was about finding joy in every season, in every moment. Over the years, Max grew older. His face showed white hairs. He slept more and ran less. But his eyes were still gentle, his tail still wagged, his heart was still loyal. He still stole my socks. He still wagged when I said, "Walk?" He still made me smile every day. At night I brushed his fur, cleaned his ears, washed his bowl, and left an old sock near his bed. I said, "Good night, Max. Thank you for today." He sighed and closed his eyes. I closed mine too, ready for another day with my friend. When I think about my life, I see many days, many people, many places. But one line is special. The line that started the day I opened that shelter door. On that line, I see rain on the street, Max's first step on sand, the climb on the hill, the vet's office, the fireworks, the cafe mornings, the road trips, and the quiet nights. All of it is our story. Simple, not famous, but full of love. And this is what I want you to remember. Sometimes life changes when you take one small step. One step through a door. One chance to love. One decision to not walk away. That rainy day I almost kept walking, but I did not. I opened the door and Max entered my life. He gave me lessons, peace, and loyalty. He gave me love. If you ever feel lonely, if you ever feel lost, remember, love can be waiting for you in the most unexpected places. Do not be afraid to open the door. Do not be afraid to take one step, because sometimes one small step can change your whole life.